We come to two pictures together. The first is Pilate's wife's dream. Now, that's extraordinary for us to take on board. I don't think I've ever known a station which has had this important and quite significant happening within the Passion. Would you like to tell us about it, Anne?
Well, yes, and it is important as well because it's where a woman plays a very important role in the whole story. Pilate's wife, Claudia, was actually a person who believed that Christ, had obviously heard of Christ, and believed that Christ was innocent of everything that he was being accused of. And in this, she had a terrible dream the night before Pilate was due to meet with Christ, and the pivotal moment where he was going to be condemned. And this dream disturbed her so much that she went to her husband and said, look, whatever you do, don't get mixed up in this. Christ's basically innocent. Jesus is an innocent man. And Pilate was pretty helpless when it came to it. He was involved in the whole political power game, and he had, in some kind of ways, he also was impotent as the snake was. He could do very little. But so when he offered Christ, or the decision for Christ or Barabbas to be the one that was released that particular time and could in fact avoid death, he actually was probably horrified by the fact that the crowd called for Barabbas to be relieved. So what does he do? He calls for a bowl of water in order to give a public renunciation of responsibility, and he washes his hand of the guilt. And what I've done is paint that bowl of water as if it were blood. So basically, the guilt is held in the blood, and it's Christ's blood that's holding it.
What you can't see, but it's actually on the video, is a huge light that's coming behind, and it's almost as if the dream is actually part of the actual picture. In our camera, I think it works really well. Shall we go to the next one? I find fascinating. Let's go to this next one. It's almost ghost-like, and I find it quite disturbing because the eyes follow you around all over the place. And
like the Mona Lisa.
And this is Veronica's veil, and this is extraordinary painting. Tell us about it.
Well, it again is another woman pivotal in terms of this narrated journey to the cross. And very basic story is that she takes off her veil and places it on Christ's head. It's a kind of soothing, covering, loving gesture. But what I imagined too was this was a moment of reprieve from all of the horror that was around Jesus, from the spitting, the hitting, the beating, the mockery, the humiliation, because for a brief moment his head was covered. So it becomes a blindfold, and it's a blindfold against the evils of mankind. And to my mind, this is the most beautiful thing. So as she pulls it away from his face, then the blood and the sweat from his face impregnates the cloth, and it becomes the first imprint. It becomes the imprint of Christ's face left on the cloth. So it is magical, but it's also very physical and practical and realistic.
Interestingly, it's very, very difficult to see in the video, and so it's really important. You must come and see it. I think you've really captured the magic of the cloth and the imprint. I think it's, And what's significant, I think, about this painting and where it's positioned is that certain parts and times of the day it changes significantly. So in the morning I come in, when I open up the church early in the morning, and I see these eyes following me around. I think it's a very, very, and of course it's one of the few traditional ones of the Stations of the Cross. And thank you.